a very important development with respect to Teamlease. Now, Teamlease has been one of the leading human resource companies in the organized space, and the company has focused on organic growth until recently. In an announcement to the exchanges a while ago, the company has stated that it will be acquiring about 40% stake in the online learning company Schoolguru Eduserve. And to give us a broader perspective on this, joining us today is the Chief Financial Officer of Teamlease, Ravi Vishwanath. Hi, sir. Thanks for joining us. Well, I'm going to start off with your newest acquisition. Can you tell us a little more about what that can bring to Teamlease and how it can, impact business going forward?
Schoolguru currently works on an exclusive basis with about 18 universities, where they are the online education partner for these universities. And they currently, they have about close to between 75 and 90,000 students on record. We believe that the Schoolguru partnership with Teamlease will only help us improve our employability and hiring strategy with the fact that most of our candidates who we go after are fresh graduates. This will give us a pool of graduates across the country who have qualified from multiple universities, and the fact is we could also put them through our apprenticeship program and get them job ready. So we would probably have access to better quality people than what we have today, is what we think the Schoolguru partnership will bring to us.
Mr. Vishwanath, it's a good day to talk to you. The stock has reacted positively to this news of acquisition. I just want to understand, how are you looking to fund this deal? I believe the enterprise value is almost 43 crore. And also, from this month itself, I believe Evolve Technologies has also become the 100% subsidiary of Teamlease. Both these acquisitions put together in the second half of this financial year, what kind of impact can we see on the top line and bottom line?
The impact of Schoolguru would probably be very minimal for the rest of the financial year. One, it's a 40% stake, and the remaining stake would probably be acquired by us over a period of time beginning from 2019, not before that. So and the valuation is also again linked to the company's performance going forward. As far as Evolve is concerned, we should probably take, while the promoters of Evolve would be continuing to stay with us over the next 1 year, from a transition perspective, we think the process of integration itself would take about 3 months, about 3 to 6 months, and we would probably maintain the same kind of momentum as what the company has built up over the last 6 months of the current fiscal year. I don't see anything dramatic happening as far as Evolve is concerned just because Teamlease has taken the company over today. But we do hope to build on this for the next financial year. We'll probably put in place all the building blocks that are required so as to enable the company move both horizontally and vertically in the telecom staffing space from the next year onwards.
All right, sir. So I'm going to come down to the broader theme and the broader trend that we wanted to discuss with a company such as yourself. Multiple financial surveys have indicated the current hiring outlook is quite bleak. So my question then is, what factors do you think can drive end industry of workforce, and how is Teamlease specifically coping with this?
We've not seen any great hiring as far as the current quarter was concerned, because I guess the GST rollout and companies grappling with the implementation of GST at their end has probably taken more importance than the hiring itself, because so we do expect that till the GST issues get ironed out, which we expect would probably be done hopefully by the end of this quarter, we don't see any dramatic hiring to happen at our end. More importantly. But from a broader perspective, I think the government is putting in place all the infrastructure that's required from a longer-term job creation. Whether it's the structural reforms, like ease of doing business, or the GST, or digitization, or labor reforms, etc. These are longer-term structural changes that the government is putting into place, which the benefits of which will be seen over a much longer duration and not immediate short term.
Sir, today also marks 1 year anniversary of demonetization. You've mentioned GST. If I have to take both these so-called reforms, there is a shift in terms of from informal economy to formal economy. Tell us, are you witnessing that sort of change? Because if that actually happens, it will benefit a company like yours. Probably the market share which you currently have, are you looking to increase that, or the trends are already showing it?
Absolutely, we look forward to increasing our market share. You must remember that of the 129 or 130 million people who are on temp or contract, we are dealing with only about 2% of them who work with formal staffing players like us. So the share of the informal sector is as high as 98%, and that's what we believe will actually is potentially an addressable market for us. We do also think that the move from informal to formal will reduce the 130 million to about 60 million over time, but the share of the formal players is actually expected to increase. Having said that, we don't think it's going to happen immediately. We do believe, this is going to take some time. We always said that the benefit of for the staffing industry from both demonetization and GST and other reforms that are probably taking place would probably be seen over a 3 to 4 quarters, if not longer.
Okay, so Mr. Vishwanath, in an industry where you operate in, we've seen a lot of scaling coming because of inorganic growth or acquisitions. And for Teamlease, for a really, really long time, we've seen substantial organic growth. But in recent, we have seen you go ahead and acquire, companies like ASAP, Niche Pro, or Keystone for that matter. How are you going to acquire scale from here on? And of course, you've already spoken to a certain extent about Schoolguru, but what do these acquisitions now mean for Teamlease?
So clearly, even at the time of IPO, and we've always said that there are certain sectors where we don't have a presence, and we do think that it's probably more prudent on our part to go ahead, get an opening balance by acquiring these companies, and then build on these sectors actually. IT staffing was clearly one of the areas that we had identified as a vertical that we have no presence, but clearly wanted to establish a presence and take it up from there. That which prompted us to acquire ASAP, Niche Pro, and Keystone last year. Again, telecom was again another select vertical where we didn't have a presence because it's so. These are and we've acquired kind of Evolve, which will help us move up the value chain both horizontally and vertically within these industries. And there are many other such verticals like engineering, hospitality, healthcare, etc., which we had. These are clearly sectors where we would probably use acquisition as a method to get an opening balance and build on it thereafter.
So my last question to you, I'm sure the shareholders will be interested in this. You operate in an industry where the margins are pretty low. In the second quarter, they were just about 1.7, but the performance in the first half have been pretty good. The EPS is almost 20 rupees versus 9, which one saw in the first half of FY17. The balance sheet is looking pretty healthy. You've got cash of almost 172 crore. What next? Can you repeat this performance in the second half? And what are you planning to do with the cash which you're sitting on?
Repeating the performance depends on the markets. Like I've always said, like you've said, we do expect the third quarter also to be soft in terms of hiring. So we don't expect anything dramatic to happen in the third quarter. So it's only the fourth quarter. Probably if things are settled between now and end of Q3, can there be an uptick in the hiring itself? So that's the outlook that we have from a hiring perspective. The cash, yes, we continue to look for acquisitions. We continue to look for strategic initiatives where we could deploy them. And globally, if you were to look at it, staffing companies have grown through roll-up acquisitions of smaller players. And I guess the time is today ripe in India to start looking at those because, these would start adding value. These would be accretive from a margin perspective and enhance shareholder value. So that's what So we would probably do acquisitions or use our existing cash if it's going to add to our shareholder value dramatically going, yeah.
All right, so and just one final question on your recent entry into IT staffing. What does that do for your margins? And if you could tell us a little more about IT.
So IT staffing, the business model of IT staffing is very different compared to the model that we have in our general staffing. IT staffing has, they have an EBITDA margin of almost about 14% is what the IT staffing EBITDA margin is 14%, as opposed to 1.7% for us in our general staffing business. The model being very different, and I think IT staffing is also at a very important crossroad where companies today see the value of working with credible staffing providers in the IT space. I'm talking about IT companies wanting to work with staffing companies in the IT space. There was a time when IT companies used to report headcount numbers, but those days are gone. I think it's today, they definitely want to work with IT staffing companies, people who are credible, who can help them scale up on time and provide them the resources when they need them. So that's where I think we can add a lot more value. We bring a lot more, we bring the scale question into play.
All right, sir, we'll leave it at that note. Thanks a lot for joining us today, and we wish you all the best for the second half of this financial year. Well, that was the management of Teamlease.